If you want to lose 10 pounds by Christmas, here is your no BS guide to doing exactly that. So today I'm going to talk you through exactly what I would do if I wanted to drop around 10 pounds before we get to the end of the year, summarizing the kind of key things that you need to do and take away from this. So let's get into it. The first thing we need to focus on is we need to be in a calorie deficit. You guys probably know that already. The easiest way to guarantee that you're in a deficit to make sure you start losing fat fairly quickly is by working off around 10 to 12 calories per pound of your body weight. Now, this is a really easy way to ensure that you're in a deficit. It's not too low on calories. It's kind of maintainable for enough time to start seeing really good results. Without being in a calorie deficit, you are never going to lose any body fat. So you need to make sure that this is the number one most important thing that you really stick to when it comes to your nutrition. Most people think they're in a calorie deficit when they're actually not. And if you're not losing body fat and you're not losing weight, then you're not in a calorie deficit. And this is going to come down to you finding a diet that you can actually stay consistent with. Even if it is for just 4 weeks, 6 weeks leading up to Christmas, you still need to make sure it's something that you can stay on top of. Number 2, guys, is you need to make sure you're hitting the gym at least 3 to 4 times per week and really focusing on strength training. This means doing compound movements, things like presses, pulls, deadlifts, squats. These are all great movements for working multiple muscle groups so that you get the most bang for your buck. Now, if you don't hit the gym and lift weights and you're in a calorie deficit, you are just going to start looking skinny fat. You're going to lose muscle. You could still theoretically lose weight by Christmas, but it's not going to be the type of weight that you actually want to lose, which is probably going to lead you to a lot of frustration. So you have to make sure that you're going to the gym, you're training progressively, you're still trying to get stronger, even though you're in a calorie deficit, which is still possible. This is going to protect muscle and it's going to actually build shape in your physique so you start to look way better. So make sure you're doing this and make sure you stay consistent with this as well. I would recommend following a split which allows you to hit multiple muscle groups throughout the week. So something like full body split, upper lower split, even like a push pull leg split where you can train each muscle group twice, because this is going to give you much more bang for your buck when it comes to getting the best possible results. Number 3 is very simple and everybody can do it, and it's just walk more. You need to focus on getting at least 10,000 steps in per day. And if you're watching this and thinking you don't have the time to do that, you need to start reflecting and finding the time, because steps is your easiest barrier of entry when it comes to dropping body fat. Very, very simple, just moving around. And this is going to lead to way more calories burnt across the day than regular exercise does. We burn more calories from NEAT, which is non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is everything we do outside of exercise, than we do doing exercise itself, which is pretty ironic. So we need to make sure that we are moving around enough to do this. I recommend 10,000 steps to most people, but if you're trying to really hit things hard and you want to push over this next 4, 5, 6 weeks, whenever you're watching this, you need to make sure that you're getting at least 10 and maybe even 12,000, even 15,000. The more steps that you can focus on, the more time you just get out and get some sun, or if you're in the UK, maybe you might get a little bit wet sometimes, but this is going to make fat loss much easier, and it actually means you can be a bit more lenient with your diet as well. You can get away with eating a bit more food because you're moving around more. Next one, guys, protein. You need to make sure you're eating enough protein within your diet for lots of reasons, which I'm going to get onto in a second. I recommend eating about 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. So if you're 200 pounds, I'd aim to eat about 200 grams of protein. Now, if that feels like it's a lot of protein, my recommendation is aim for what your ideal weight would be. So if you want to get to 180 pounds, you want to drop 20 pounds, like a long-term goal, then eat about 180 grams of protein per day. Now, the reason why this is so important and that you need to make sure you do this is, firstly, this is what actually builds muscle and builds shape. So if you don't eat enough protein but you lift weight, you're not giving your body what it needs to actually grow and change and reshape. So you have to make sure you're doing that from a body compositional perspective. Number 2 is protein actually fills us up and it makes the diet easy to stick to. If you eat lots of protein, tells your body that you're full, and you're not going to then go and want to binge or go into the cupboard late at night or the pantry and start snacking on lots of crap, because protein fills us up and it's a filling macronutrient. And the last reason, which people don't always understand, is protein has the highest thermic effect of food. Now, when we actually eat food and digest food, guess what? This burns calories, and protein has the highest thermic effect in any macronutrient that we eat. So the more protein, we actually burn calories from eating it. So you're going to burn calories, around 10% of your calories, just from eating protein every day. So let's think about like having a chicken breast. You're going to burn calories from just eating that chicken breast. So the actual net calories of that breast, you're not even consuming within that food, because you're actually burning calories. Your body digests it down and actually has to break it up for you to be able to digest it. So it's really important that you're getting at least 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight or ideal body weight. Otherwise, you are not going to reach this goal that we've just set. The next one, guys, is make sure you stay hydrated. This is really important. Now, obviously, being in a place like I am, Dubai, it's even more important to stay hydrated, because performance is going to suck, energy is going to suck, going to get more tired. But just in general, people don't drink enough water. You need to make sure you're getting in at least 2 liters per day, but probably more. If you're a bigger guy or you're a fitter individual, I'd aim for at least 3 liters, 4 liters, even 5 liters. I probably drink at least 8 liters of water, maybe a little bit less than that in Dubai, but I drink a lot, constantly chugging back water. However, you need to focus on making sure you're getting in a decent amount, because a lot of the time people mistake their hunger for dehydration. They're constantly feeling like they're hungry all the time, but they're just not simply drinking enough water. And if you drank more water, it's going to fill you up, it's going to make you feel better, you're going to train better, you're going to have more energy, your mood's going to be better. So you simply staying hydrated is important. And if you really forget, I would suggest you buy one of the big bottles of water like this and just carry this around with you everywhere. This is what I always do. I just take this around with me. I constantly fill it up all the time. I don't just drink out of glasses. As glasses, you just end up drinking like 300, 400 milliliters at a time. Isn't enough. This comes with me everywhere I go. Fill it up. I drink lots of water. Very, very simple. This is going to be a massive game changer when it comes to cutting back the weight before Christmas. Next up, we need to make sure that we're still doing some cardio. Now, you don't need to do cardio when it comes to losing body fat. You just need to be in a calorie deficit. However, it just makes the process easier. Now, if we do cardio and we start to really bring it in, we're just going to be burning more calories each day. And across the week, this is going to help us maintain a calorie deficit, especially as things can start to plateau at certain points where we need to kind of up the antiques a little bit with our body, start expending more energy. So I'd recommend that you do at least 2 to 3 sessions of cardio per week. You can even do a cardio session every time you do a weight training session, just do your cardio afterwards. Or if you really want to take it to the next level, you could do cardio every morning if you've got the time. If you've got a cardio piece of equipment in your house, amazing. Or maybe you could just go for a run or a very light jog or something like that that's going to kind of push your heart rate to around kind of like the 120 mark. For most people is where we roughly want to be. 100 to 120 is a good place for cardio. Now, it just makes things a lot easier. I would personally stick to more low intensity cardio, moderate intensity cardio. I'm not a massive fan of HIIT because I just think for most people it's very hard to get that right intensity. It doesn't really burn too many calories. But if you prefer training with higher intensity, do 2 to 3 HIIT sessions per week as well. It's still better than not doing anything. Doing some cardio will make a massive difference to your fat loss results. Is make sure you get good quality sleep. Most people do not get enough sleep. You need to stop thinking like a hustler or thinking that you don't need the sleep and that, you'll sleep when you're dead. I hear a lot of people say, that's not how it works. We need to make sure that we're sleeping enough to make sure that our body's actually going to start burning body fat. There's been a lot of studies that have shown that people that get less sleep lose more muscle when they diet. This has been proven lots of times. So you have to make sure you're getting at least 7 hours if we can, good quality sleep. Even 8 hours is going to be more recommended. At the minimum, we need to aim for 6 hours. If you really, really struggle with this, just do the best that you can. I know for some people, can give these arbitrary numbers, but being realistic, some people's lifestyles are challenging, but you need to prioritize it as much as you can because it's super important. Okay, we regulate hormones way better when we get more sleep. We produce less ghrelin, which is almost like our hunger hormone telling us we're hungry, and we actually release more leptin, which is the hormone that tells us that we're full. So when we regulate hormones better, we get less hungry, we produce more testosterone, which gives us more energy, helps our weight sessions, we build muscle better, we lose body fat better. So do not neglect your sleep. And even if you feel like you don't need it or you perform fine without it, you don't. You need to get good quality sleep. Actually prioritize that as well. I've done plenty of videos before talking about how we can get better quality sleep. So go watch those as they will give you a good insight in terms of how I would set my sleep routine up to get the most optimal benefit. And to finish things off, guys, arguably the most important thing is this. You need to stay consistent and you need to not throw in the towel if you have a slip up, because the chances are over this next few weeks, you're probably going to have something on that's going to cause a bit of an upset, to your nutrition. Maybe you're going to get a late night. When the festive season starts to hit, you're probably going to have work parties with your friends. You can be going out. That's fine. That is normal behavior around Christmas. Now, I personally will probably be doing the same as well. Catching up with family, catching up with friends. But this doesn't mean I fall off track with my diet. This doesn't mean that I stop training. You don't need to be perfect when it comes to getting amazing results. You just need to stay consistent. So operate at around 80% throughout this process, throughout this next 6 weeks. You will get an amazing results before the end of the year. Do not fall off the wagon if you slip up. If we think about how many potential nights out you actually got between now and Christmas, you could probably count it on one hand. How many days have we got before Christmas? Probably quite a lot. So the reality is this small amount of time that you think you can't be consistent or you can't stick to your diet with 100% precision is actually not going to make the difference that you think it is. Don't worry about that. Focus on being consistent and do not be hard on yourself if you have a slip up, because let's be realistic, you're probably going to at some point. Anyway, guys, these are my top tips to losing 10 pounds of body fat before Christmas, before the new year, so you can go into the end of the year feeling much better than the position that you maybe do at this moment in time. If you found this video useful, make sure you smash the like button, make sure you subscribe for future videos, and make sure you hit the bell notification for every time I post, and I will catch you in the next video.